In the last week of February 2014, I was given another waking dream. Now, for me, dreams have never been symbolic. With my background as a deep metaphysical researcher, broadcaster, as well as a metaphysical teacher, lecturer, and practitioner, I am a hard-fast skeptic. However, through the many years before, as a practice as a professional psychic, the guides have given me information that was quite direct about world events, as well as the lives of others, and those events have been confirmed. Now, this dream, as well, is detailed, but always the last dream prior to waking. The dream showed the numbers 888, then the words, "Don't wait." And I know that numerological sequence is important for that meaning in some circumstances, or certain numerological descriptions. Then it showed me the map of the United States. And then they zeroed in on just the section of the U.S. map, but of California, and it was highlighted. They showed me I could see the entire state in its present form and shape. Then they showed me California, just the northern portion intact, and with one single peninsula from the northern portion down the middle of California. Nothing on either side, just a long peninsula, similar to the look of Baja California, that peninsula that runs south into Mexico, south of California. Now, this is significant. As I woke up and knew that this was very strong. They don't just give me any little detail. I've watched, because they gave me information about the tsunami or the earth events back in the mid-90s, that these major events for the earth would be taking place, or the worst years would be 2012 to 2015. And here, just a few weeks back, was this detailed information about California. Just days later, first week of March, we had the first of a few earthquakes. Now, I looked up the area of those earthquakes, and it was at the point between the tectonic plate systems, the Juan de Fuca plate, as well as the San Andreas plate, the Pacific tectonic plate, as well as the North American plate, all conjoined at that central point. And those earthquakes hit exactly at that point near Eureka, California. That is the highest point of stress, or the highest point of subduction as well, in those three tectonic plate areas. And there we had the earthquakes. There were 6.9, and several aftershocks up to 7.0, 3 or 4, then 4.7s or more. Now, what I found was later on during the month, the USGS had taken down some of those readings. Of course, I've watched, and that isn't always as accurate as we'd like to see. But I had seen them when they had first appeared. Then, upon waking from that dream, I was reminded about the Chualar crop circle that had happened December 28, 2013 in California, in Chualar, California. Now, if you look at the map, Chualar is exactly opposite Carmel, California, exactly opposite Monterey, California, those areas, right near the 101 freeway, a very busy freeway, and not too far south, perhaps an hour south of San Jose, another hour and a half or so from San Francisco. But they had shown me there was a connection. That crop circle was indicating very important information and why it was placed in California, right at that area of Central California. Now, this is important because you remember, as I saw that peninsula, there were no cities on either side, just a long peninsula running through from Northern California intact and right down the middle stream, a long tail curling through. No cities on either side and water on either side of that peninsula. And through my research over 40 years on the earth changes, pole shift, and major earth changes we are now experiencing or are in process, the tectonic plate situation, or the first fracture for these major changes, will be experienced most definitely in Southern California. And the Chualar crop circle When I first was guided to look at it, with the very first moments that it was out, the news was out, and I followed all the cover-up information, and we had to all wade through that because it was a real crop circle. But I was reminded that day after the dream, that morning after the dream, that crop circle showed me the poles. They actually set that crop circle with the Braille, the Morse code information, and they set it right there by these poles. When I saw it, I immediately knew that they were indicating or trying to indicate, even on another visual level, the pole shift, which is in process. This was just another warning for us to prepare. And then here we go, right back again, as I suggested, the very first week of March, Southern California with the earthquakes. The USGS even marked one of the earthquakes, a 5.0, that was not as well, how can I say it, talked about on the news, that it was 90 miles southwest of Bakersfield. Well, I looked it up on the map. I knew exactly the location. It was right near the 405, where the Getty Museum and all those pieces are. Now, this is important for you to understand. It is also important to note that the Chualar crop circle in that valley, in that farmland, in California, kept noting 192 in all the codes. 192, people weren't sure, hours, days, months, weeks. Well, guess what? 192 days from the exact day that the crop circle was found is going to be July 8th, 2014. Does anyone remember what happened July 8th, 1947? That was the Roswell incident. And believe it or not, the World Disclosure Day has already been set for July 8th, 2014. Some very strong astrological aspects are also created that day. This is a day of great change on the planet, physically, mentally, and spiritually. The way we grow, the way the earth grows throughout the cosmos must be noted. Also, I'd like to add one of the newest crop circles for this summer. If those have seen the video for last summer's warnings with those crop circles, this summer, just in the month of July, literally shows a compass again, but there's a designated shading between the north and the western portion. If you have your manual compasses, as I have, you will note that west is a totally different direction, north is a totally different direction that we're all accustomed to and that we're all used to. Please pay attention, be aware. You want to be more discerning with all the material out there. You want to stay calm in the eye of the storm always. Be proactive. It's time to make a plan for these events. These are warnings from the benevolent cosmic brothers and sisters that are trying to help us as we go through this natural cycle of greatest earth change. The cosmic brotherhood, so to speak, are trying to give humans on the planet these indicators to properly prepare. So the information I have before you is not contrite. It's not after looking at a cursory bit of information for a couple of weeks and then determining it's not going to happen, or just that it determined that we have to get ready. This is over 40 years of watching all these changes and indicators and being guided to direct information that would happen, and everyone could see it could happen. So this is extremely important to note. You can see more of my work if you'd like to, so you can properly prepare at www.onlyneplan.com. You must understand something. This is not just a physical preparation you need to make. Everything on the planet is experienced three ways. So spiritually, you must prepare. Mentally, you must prepare, as well as for the physical changes that will be happening to Earth herself, which is a natural cycle in her development, and this evolutionary change spiritually, mentally, and physically for all of us that is happening and coincides at the same time. For those who resonate, this material exists for your benefit. It is time to pay attention. Wishing you well.